Aloha. My name is Lee Skoverski, and I'm filming this, we're videoing this from Honolulu, Hawaii, which is where I've lived for the last 37 years. By the suggestion of my son John, we decided to make a video so you could see my great-grandchildren or my great-great-grandchildren, whoever's viewing this, what I did in my life. So the following will be a biography of my life, of the high notes, of what I've done and what has been accomplished in my life. Hopefully this will be beneficial to you in the future. Okay, let's get started now. I was born May 29th, 1942 in Oakland, California. I have one sibling. I have a sister. She was born July 22nd, 1944. Her name is Jean. For the first 12 years of my life, until 1954, we lived in and around Oakland, California, which is known as the Bay Area. We lived in Hayward, San Lorenzo, San Leandro, and Oakland. In 1954, we moved to Santa Cruz, California. From 1954 to 1960, this is where I resided. In 1954, I attended Live Oak Elementary School. From there I went on to Branch 40 Junior High School, and for a very short time I went to Santa Cruz High School. I dropped out of school and just kind of lived on, just doing odd jobs and lived by myself. During this period from 1957 to 1960, I met some friends. One of those friends was Donald Miller. Another one was Ken Pinto. We became good friends over the years. In 1959, we decided to go on a road trip. Ken had a car, an old Mercury, so we decided to take off and travel. We went to Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Montana, Washington, and Oregon, and then back into California. During this time, in order to make money, in Texas we worked as farmhands. In Arizona we worked in the fruit industry, picking vegetable industry, picking vegetables. In Montana we cut Christmas trees for the Flathead Indians. Then down in Oregon we worked in the sawmills, pulling what they call pulling the green chain. From there we went back home to Santa Cruz. We got back in Santa Cruz in about 1960, January or so. We didn't really know what we want to do with our life. So the three of us, me, Don Miller, and Ken Pinto, in March of 1960, joined the United States Coast Guard and was shipped off to boot camp. Boot camp is 16 weeks. And it was held in Alameda, California. During the boot camp exercises, in the 15th week, we had our final test. I could not swim a stroke, so I was no way I was going to pass my swimming test. This is a little sidebar of what happened. So my Don Miller, which later became my brother-in-law, when he married my sister, decided we change uniforms. So for the swimming test, he went and took it for me. I took his firearms test on the rifle range. He passed my swimming, I passed his rifle range. The funny thing was, I still can't swim a stroke, but the main mission of the United States Coast Guard is search and rescue at sea. I spent 90% of my tour of duty at sea, and I couldn't swim a stroke. So, but it worked out good. I'm still here. In 1961, I met Diane Perrin, who later would become my wife and your great-grandmother or great-great-grandmother. We got married that same year, latter part of 1961. On March 2nd of 1962, my first son was born. His name was John. In June 30th of 1964, my second child was born. It was a girl. Her name was Desiree. And in 1966, my final child was born. It was a boy. His name was Eric. Life went on normal until 1968, when me and your great-grandmother or great-great-grandmother got a divorce. From 68 to 70, I just kind of hung around. I was there in Santa Cruz, not doing much, just hanging out. John, my oldest son, lived with me some of the time. And in 1970, I met a girl by the name of Diane Nordstrom. And later that year, we were married. We were married in Santa Cruz. She had 2 kids by a previous marriage. Later that year in 1970, I was contacted by a business acquaintance of mine named Bob Rushan, who had bought a scale company in Honolulu, Hawaii. And he wanted me to come over and run it. So in the latter part of 1970, me, Diane, that'd be my second Diane, her 2 children, and my oldest son John, who came with me. We all moved to Honolulu. We lived in Honolulu for about 4 years, till about 1974 or 75, at which time the business was sold, or was going to be sold. So Diane had moved back to the mainland. I was still here. I believe John went back to the mainland. I stayed here for a little while, closing down the business and stuff, and in the meantime, Diane had filed for divorce. So in 1975, I returned to California, went back to Santa Cruz, and worked for a scale company out of Oakland, commuted back and forth. Let's see, we started a scale company of our own in 1976. And in 1979, I just wasn't happy in Santa Cruz anymore. I really enjoyed my time in Honolulu and wanted to go back. So I sold the business to one of my employees, and I took off and went back to Honolulu. This was 1979, the first part of 1979. In November of 1979, I was hired by a company called Barnes Distribution. And today, which is April 6th of 2014, I am still employed by that same employer. As a sidebar, I forgot to mention that in 1972, I lost my father at a very young age, considering how old we are. He was 62 years old when he passed. Cancer got to him. I lost my mother in 1978. She died of liver failure. So I lost both my parents at a young age. As you can see today, I'm already 72, and I'm healthy, and I plan on living to at least 80. So I've outlived my parents by a lot. Prior to going to work for Bowman, I held down various jobs in Honolulu to sustain myself. During this time, I met a person who had a job, and he hired me. His name was Andy Gehring. He became one of my very, very good friends, and to this day still is. Although he doesn't live anywhere near Honolulu, he lives in New Jersey. We still communicate by telephone. So that was a good thing. Going to work for Bowman in 1979, and I'm still working for them today. The early part of the 80s, not much happened in my life other than I did a lot of traveling. I did see a lot of the world from about 82 to about 87. In some cases, I took my son, John, with me. In other cases, I went with lady friends, or in some cases with Andy. But I extensively traveled a lot during the 80s. So the 80s were good years for me. Latter part of the 1980s, 87, I met another girl, and this one, her name was Yusuki. She was a Korean, and we knew each other for about a year and a half, and I also married her. As a sidebar, one of the dumb things that your pop did, you got married too many times, but that's what I did. So we were married for about a year, and then we got a divorce. In 1990, my first granddaughter was born. Her name was Anela. She was born August 6th of 1990 to Eric, my youngest son. later the next month in 1990, September 7th, my second grandchild was born, which was also a girl. Her name is Ariana. She was born to my daughter, Desiree. In 1997, my third grandchild was born. That was also a girl. Her name is Taylor, and she was born also to Eric. To my grandchildren, as we were raising Ari, who lived with me during the early years, she couldn't say grandpa. So she started, the only thing she could say was Poppy. So she started calling me Poppy. My other grandchild, Anela, started calling me Poppy. And to this day, all of Ari's friends still call me Poppy. The name has stuck. So it's just a little sidebar to one of the things that I don't mind. Everyone calls me Poppy. So I'm a Poppy to everyone. I'm not a grandpa. The rest of the 90s, really nothing happened in my life in the 90s. I just kind of worked for Bowman, did my job, did some more traveling. I believe, I forgot to mention that back in the 80s, one of those trips I took my 3 children, John, Desiree, and Eric, on a cruise ship out of LA that went down through Mexico. We went to Mazatlan, Cabo San Lucas, and Puerto Vallarta. It was a good trip. We really enjoyed ourselves. The boys kind of acted up a little bit on the ship, but what boys will be boys. So we had a good time though. So we go back now to the year 2000. The 1990s, like I said earlier, nothing happened. Life was just normal. I worked for Barnes Distribution, and nothing extravagant happened, or no more marriages, or nothing. In 2000, the early part of the 2000s, I did a lot of cruises. I took Deborah, a girl I knew at the time, on a Mexican cruise. Another time I took another girl named Nikki. We went on a Caribbean cruise. And most recently, I took Deborah on an Alaskan cruise. I really enjoy the cruises because they are relaxing. Other than that, there's not much else that happened to me in the 2000s. I'm still employed by Barnes. Not much longer. I'm close to retirement. And then I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I'll do something.
Now, sidebar.
Yeah. Through my employment with Barnes, which has been very lucrative to me, I was able to put one of my grandchildren, Ariana Masaoka, through college. She graduated from Hawaii Pacific University in 2012, and she's got a good job. She works for the state of Hawaii. She's self-independent, and the money was well spent. So when I take back what I said about not accomplishing anything in the year 2000, I did during those years. Growing up in the 2000s era, the only thing that bothered me was this high-tech society that we became in the late 2000s, 2010, 2008, 2029, and I could never accept it. I hated high-tech. I don't have a cell phone. Everyone has a cell phone. My son has a cell phone. My granddaughter has a cell phone. Bums on the street have a cell phone. I don't have a cell phone. I don't want a cell phone. I don't want an MP3 music. I watch normal TV, and that's it. I have a house phone, a landline they call it. The kids call it a landline. That's what I have. I do have a computer, but I was forced to buy a computer by my company. So I had no options there. I do own that. But I do not like high tech. I'm totally against high tech.
Smartphone. Santa Cruz. See ya.
In closing, I would like to say that I thank my son John for making me do this. It come out to be a very, very good idea. And I would also like to say that all in all, my life has been good. I've had a good life. I've had good 72 years. I've had my trials and tribulations with divorces and various sicknesses, but I've been good. I come out with 3 kids, 3 children, 3 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. The only thing I would maybe wish differently, that one of my grandchildren would be a boy. but they're all girls. And my great-grandchild turned out to be a girl. So maybe I'm out of luck on boys. But once again, I would like to say that I did have a good life. And I have no complaints. Okay, aloha. And in Hawaii, aloha, we say that in greeting or the beginning, and we say that at the end or goodbye. Because aloha has both meanings. Hello, goodbye.
I just wanted to show you where Dad lives, or Pop.
Pop. Go, you take it out there.
I'll try to focus it out here, but here's his outside. You can see Diamond Head right there.
And the golf course.
The golf course. And there's the ocean. Not bad, huh?
Well, that's a good idea.
There's his apartment, and there's his computer.
Okay. That should do it.
See you later.
Secure. Over here. Get over here. Right here by the TV. So you can get all this in. Or maybe you can get it all in.
Well, Pop, it's a video. It's not a picture.
Oh, that's right.
I don't technically have to get in. I just
Oh,
have
yeah,
to like
that's
move. Like
Okay, wait a minute
this.
now.
Okay.
TV! TV!
Flat screen.
Flat screen.
New fan.
Dad's going digital.
No, you're taking me to 21st century is what you're doing. And coffee pot,
Because you never wash it.
dick cock, where's the jacket?
It's
about?
electronic. It's hard to use.
And
It means it's stone.
Yeah, okay, you're now on camera.
it's filming.
Yeah. Now here at the Willows.
It's not recording you.
It's recording now.
Me?
Yeah. Okay, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right now.
Yeah, right.
We're in Leaky right now. Hanging out.
Happy birthday, dear Pop. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
That won't be that.